All right, guys, welcome back. Hall of Fame edition. Earn Your Leisure, EYL. This is something that this is big for us, big day for us. So first and foremost, we gotta thank our guy Kenny Burns.
Shout out to the legend.
Shout out to Kenny, man. Good, genuine dude. Without him, this wouldn't have been possible. He connected the dots for us. So Earn Your Leisure, you know, we've been checking off our list. We interviewed Shaquille O'Neal.
Yep. We've
interviewed our favorites from a long list of different people. I don't want to forget anybody, but you know, it's one person that early on, we already had two people early on.
Yeah.
We had Nipsey Hussle and we had Dame Dash. And Dame was really an inspiration for us as far as we're a business podcast. Not something that probably would have been as popular as it has been if maybe he didn't push the envelope of business and entertainment and being independent for so long, and he had a legendary Breakfast Club interview that
changed my
really
life.
changed a lot of people's lives for sure. So, you know, needs no introduction, but entrepreneur, family man, record executive, film producer, a director, actor, fashion designer.
Father.
I said family man. We're in his studios right now, so
You can't tell
this is gonna be a good one. So first and foremost, Dame, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Working for Earn Your Leisure.
Thank you for the intro. Never was a record executive, always on the way.
Okay.
Nicolette, you can bring me the orange juice and the vodka, please. Now that I'm good.
So Dame, let's get into it, man. We're gonna talk about.
Put this over here.
All right.
Man, you want to drink it over.
You got that laugh like
I like.
You did. You look like you're right. You're not lying.
So Dame, let's get into it, man. We want to talk about a lot of different things here, but the first thing I want to talk about, we in your studios, and it's in the middle of a global pandemic. But the thing that you actually told us is something that is true for us and a lot of other people that we've interviewed on our show. Is that you know, it's actually been a situation where you're actually lucrative during this time for creators, content creators. So you actually own a studio, a network. So I want to talk about that because I haven't really heard you speak about it too much, and I feel like a lot of interviews they ask kind of the same questions. So, you know, owning a studio, owning a network, we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of it, but what's the idea behind that? Like, what made you want to go into that world?
Well, when you relate to this, it was on my bucket list to have a network. But residual income became really important to me because as I was getting older, I was like, I don't feel like being so social. I don't feel like being around people so much, especially people I don't like. And I wanted to be able to earn money while I was by the pool and do it when I felt like it. So, you know, in my experiences with making movies and the percentages I owned of certain movies, I was like, damn, if I made my own movies, owned them 100%. And when the internet came, because of the direct-to-consumer relationship, I could sell it directly to them. You know, you remember, even back at the Breakfast Club, I was like cut out the middleman.
Yeah.
There's an internet. So I just think I grasped the reality of what was happening because I was looking for it. I was looking for independence, and the internet gave me that. And having the wherewithal to make content, you know, observing content is cool. I went through that phase, but to get residual income, you have to be able to do something that people want to see over and over again, which is scripted. Something with a beginning, middle, and end, produced a certain way. And, you know, in this moment, it's a crowded block. I think a lot of what people are doing right now is good, but, you know, it would have been better if you had realized it 10 years ago it was there. So now instead of being wait, you're 2 for 5. You know, you're a trade. And you have to hustle on a crowded block. You know, I was preparing, not to say for this moment, but for the moment that I could just completely do what I want, when I want, how I want, by the pool. So when the pandemic happened, it was perfect. People were home and needed things to watch. I had a lot of content to edit. I own all the cameras out of the studio. I had about 5 people in my studio anyway. You see, when you came in here, you had to get heavily tested.
Right.
Not only a test, I'm able to also put the gun on you too, the heat gun. You know what I'm saying? I'm diabetic, I can't stand it. But at the end of the day, a general has to be able to move in a war. A soldier waits to be told what to do. A general prepares for a war before it happens. I'm a general. So I was preparing for a different war. The war and the revolution has always been financial empowerment. It's always been able to tell them to get the fuck out of my face. I'll do it on my own and be confident. And that's always the way I've approached things. I've always known that if they could do what I could do, period. I'm looking at my competition and they don't seem swaggier than me. They don't seem cooler than me. They don't seem tougher than me. You know, they're not built for this. They seem to be told what to do. They seem to be acting like it's theirs and it's not. You know? And for me, it's like I have pets. I have pet dogs, my puppies. And they depend on me for food, they give me comfort. But I'll be like, I wonder how they would have been able to survive on their own if they had to actually kill something every day to eat. They'd be a different kind of animal. So when I look at me and I look at others, I'm just like, yo, I'm a different kind of animal. You're a puppy. You're there for somebody's entertainment. You get fed. You gotta be nice. I'm a wild animal. I'm gonna kill you before somebody gives me anything. I like the way that feels.
Yeah, you started at the beginning of the pandemic. You said that you had to create content challenge, but within that, you went into the definition of why content is so important. Because when you have a lot of it, you create a catalog. And as you create a catalog, now you can license it. Can you get into that a little bit?
Yeah, it's just like anything. Residual income. People will pay to borrow it or rent it from you so that they can put commercials or have people pay for it. So let's say a BT wants to license one of my movies. I'll be like, I need $400,000 for 3 years. But you're gonna give it back as soon as the 3 years is done. And you can only have the rights for television, not digital or anything else. And that exists for every form, from Facebook to digital, probably Instagram in a minute. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what licensing is.
So your model, I know you have the subscription, so you do a little bit of both. You do the subscription service and you do the licensing, or is it like
I do all of that. That's just an ancillary thing, is the licensing. But at the end of the day, right now it's a streaming service, but there's also a 24-hour network that it goes over the air in Charlotte. And now I'll be able to go and have the 24-hour network playing from the actual app. So you'll be able to go watch television and have the television experience, or you can pay and subscribe and you'll be able to get it on demand.
Let me ask you this.
Commercial.
Let me ask you this, because
But also, let me say one more thing. One of the other reasons why it was important for me to have my own network was because it was like, I'm selling music and they use music in networks. I'm selling clothes and everybody got to wear clothes. At the time I was selling weed. I smoke weed in the content. So it also becomes a commercial for everything. So if you watch Honor Up, I made the clothes, I made the music, you know, I made the sunglasses. Everything that you see can be bought from me. So it also becomes a commercial for my ancillary products.
cross-branding.
They can buy it directly from me.
So
It's a store. It becomes home shopping network while you're watching it. And in the television business, traditionally a network will pay a production company. They'll buy their idea and then pay them to execute it. So all these ideas, these black shows, they come from black people, but the only way a network will take the show is if it comes from a white production company, such as E1. People like Tara Long. And We Channel will only take our black stories if they're made and budgets controlled by white people. So I walk into E1, I see posters of black families all over the wall, but in the offices I only see white people. And the dysfunction that they cause and try to capture, they always want to put a camera on us, but you turn the camera on them, oh, get that camera off me, I'm not signing off and all that. They want us to make fools of ourselves, capture that narrative, play it over and over again so you believe it. And they want to make sure that they're not seen at all. And they never exploit their own culture. So I look at channels like VH1 and look at what's the biggest thing on the network is our dysfunction. Mm-hmm. I look at We Channel and they try to make us as legends look like dysfunctional people and actually do things to make it appear that way. And then the other programming is jail. You know, it's embarrassing watching the We Channel. Life after jail. It's embarrassing. Making money. Our own trauma, and we don't know how to help ourselves. We think being fucked up and being depressed is normal, and it's not. We don't teach financial empowerment on television. We get taught, yo, take a short price so you can make some money going to the strip club. Build your brand that way. Be stupid and act crazy so people will pay to actually talk crazy to you in person.
So what's that process like, right? You said that the network is in Charlotte right now.
It's also over the air.
Over the air. Has it been tough with actual, I guess, big networks trying to broadcast it or syndicate it, or what has that process been like?
I mean, right now, I'm just opening up shop, so it's been cool. It's been easy as It's been having information and understanding it and applying it. They don't teach us. It's been expensive figuring it out, but it's been worth it, and it's been fun.
So
You know?
let me ask you this. So I don't want to compare you to Netflix, but I'm just using them as an example.
Definitely compare me to Netflix.
Alright, even better. So Netflix, if anybody's not familiar, they spend the most money out of any TV station in the world on original content, and they also heavily in debt. Like,
Let me explain that to you.
okay. Well, I'm also ask you a question. So they spend so much money that their profit margins are extremely thin because they're spending it.
I don't think that's the business model.
Okay.
I think the business model is buying content and leveraging it later. But in the beginning, they were licensing, and that's the reason why they lost so much money, was because they were licensing. And then when they did their own original programming, I think it was called House of Cards, that changed the whole game for them. But every year they do lose $1 billion, but they raise $1 billion.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's probably one company that's just for, and you know they own Stars too, by the way. So basically they can incubate one there and put it there. And I think one company is really primarily for, I'm not saying that I know it, but if I was a betting man, I would think one is for the subscriptions, which is a loss, but they can raise money and blah, blah, blah. And the other is for the content that they own that they can leverage, that they'll be getting residual income from, because they actually are paying people to make shit that they own.
Well, yeah, so but my question was, as far as creating content that is expensive, that's why they have to borrow money, I'm assuming. How does that relate to you? Like,
That's a scam. They're just paying for, too much money for craft services. I own all the cameras, so I cut out all that bullshit. I can do everything. So I ain't gotta pay it right. I ain't gotta outsource a production company. I am a production company. I ain't gotta rent no cameras. I got the cameras. I ain't gotta rent no editing bays. I got the editing bays. And if I gotta act, I'm gonna jump in front of that shit and do it too.
You're 100% funded on your project.
100.
and all right, so you pretty much it's a more efficient manner as far as not just paying this crew, that crew to shoot. Everything is in house, so it's less. Because the reason why I'm asking, because I know you have
Outsourcing makes no sense. Because then people make up jobs and get paid for it. Cuts out a lot of bullshit when you know how to do it yourself. See, I'm not only administrative, I'm creative. So people be thinking that shit is normal, that I can direct, act, write, play instruments, just do everything. But when I say I direct something, like some people are just known for directing and that's it. That's all they do. When I say I direct something, they go, oh yeah, that's Dane, he directs. Oh shit, he's acting, and he's not an actor, but it's Dane. Like you don't recognize me as an actor. You don't look at me as a director. You don't look at me as a producer. You don't look at me as a fashion icon and a fashion, but I do all these things, and I started all these businesses from scratch. All the things that people went to school for, I dominated at a very young age.
No, I think we do recognize you as.
No, I'm not saying. Well, I'm just saying like it's normal. It's normal.
Yeah.
Just like they think it's normal.
Yeah.
But yesterday, Nicolette had a show. I picked up a guitar and started playing. It's just that's not normal.
So the fashion industry, I heard something where you were saying that the profit margins are extremely low in the fashion industry.
Yeah,
that's something that you was involved in, but I don't think you're really involved in fashion anymore. Like you
No, I still am.
You still are? Yeah. How's your experience? Because you've had several different multi-million-dollar companies. What's your experience in the fashion world? But that's a whole different conversation as well. The fashion industry, I feel like.
The fashion world is you have to build a brand first, and you have to lose money for a little while before you gain it. But if you actually build your brand doing something else, and you have the wherewithal to actually make clothing and clothing with a point of view, then you can have a direct-to-consumer relationship, but not to be not so profitable. So traditionally, the fashion business sucks if you're going through it, where you have to order a bunch of inventory ahead of time, whether people are gonna buy it or not. You got to plan. You got to put up. If somebody orders $1 million worth of shit, unless you got 500,000 to not be able to touch for like 6 months, then you can't do it. Like growth can kill you. But in this day and age, you can go to a factory, make your clothes, and sell it directly to your consumer, market it by yourself because it's your point of view. You have Instagram. There's so many ways to do things now. So the traditional way of doing things, it makes it where a normal person would need an institution and have to sell his whole soul away to get it done. What I've been trying to explain to people for years is you don't have to do that no more. People are just catching on. But I've been saying it for years.
You've been, I mean, you helped and mentored and pretty much started a lot of brands. Rich Roy, obviously, obviously mentored Jay. Are there people right now that you're looking at? Are you still involved in that process of mentoring and giving people the guidance in the fashion industry?
In fashion?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what popping to me. That's my fashion. So we make clothes, we make socks, you know, we make all, we make everything. But right now it's about really building the brand. And at some point I'll license it out.
Just yours individually? I'm just saying anyone else.
In general,
yeah.
Am I looking to teach people?
Yeah.
I mean, they can learn from watching me, but you know, teaching people takes time from my dreams sometimes. So I teach people through the interviews.
Yeah, that's
you go to Popperton University on Dame Dash Studios, and there's usually a clinic on something.
I want to ask you a question because we're in the age of.
Wait, can I do this? And Nicolette, in the background, can you show the streaming service? Just fuck around with it a little bit. I'm sorry. Yeah. And also Nicolette, she has an album coming out, a movie coming out, a TV show. Anyone that works for me or works with me has to have a dream.
Yeah.
Because you can't fight for my dream if you can't fight for your own. It just won't happen.
That's great. I literally wrote down that quote and I'm like, that's dope. And I hear you talk about your dreams a lot. In my mind, I'm like, I've never really heard you say what your ultimate dream is. I know you
see it.
You're involved in so much, but what's the ultimate dream for being dad?
Yeah, I don't know what the ultimate is, because every time I have a dream, I make it happen and I have another dream. You know? So my ultimate dream is to be like LVMH and Disney at one time. But also to have, and it's happening. So, you know, I see my brother Kanye, and he's making deals that make me very proud. You know? Yeah. And I get to go visit him, and the way he can treat me, the way he fronts on me, that nigga be stunning.
So like when he's doing these deals, like the Gap deal he just did, is he hitting you up like, yo, damn about this, or he's like, you get stunned on that?
That's one thing you don't do, just talk about what we talk about.
Okay, got you.
But, I could say this, I'm always giving him that I'm proud of call, you know, over.
I want to talk about something in fashion, but since we're on Kanye, global icon, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you was like the first person to really believe in his vision to rap. He's a producer, but you saw something in him.
He earned the right to believe in his vision to rap because he helped so many of my artists. Mm-hmm. I didn't really care if he could rap or not, you know. Do what you want to do, bro. You just gave us too many hit records.
Yeah, the first time we heard was that.
So did you see, like, obviously nobody can predict the future, but did you see something special, like, all right, this dude is different. He's not just a regular producer, like, he's different.
Nah, not in the beginning.
Okay, honest answer.
Yeah, in the beginning, he was, you know, it was like, he was at the level, it was him and Just Blaze.
Yeah,
and they both were making rapid hits. Did I see him being a fashion icon? Nah. Because first he only used to wear polo. So I used to be like, yo, that's not fashion. For real, I put him to the side.
Yeah, I could imagine those conversations.
You know, I took him to London.
Yeah.
And showed him shit. And I know he was gonna be the, like, when I talked to Kanye, he said, yo, I'm the living, breathing dragon of everything that you wanna be. And he really is.
Yeah, manifested.
Dragon energy. So we in the age of protest, like, and I always say support goes a lot.
I've been in the life of protest though.
But let me go. I'm going something.
I got you.
I always say that support goes a lot further than boycott. What I mean by that is that, like, so the Gucci thing, when they do the blackface and they protest and they come to Harlem and have like a sit down. I apparently when you guys had Rockaware, you tried to approach I think Iceberg at the time, and they said no, they wasn't interested.
They were disrespectful.
Can you tell that story?
Yeah, we ran Iceberg, so I went to them. I think the head of sales was knowing how come their shit was spiking. And I went to go meet with him, and me and Jay, and it was like, just were very dismissive. They didn't want to give us any free clothes. They told us we could go to a sample set. And I was like, all right, I'm putting you out of business. So I started rocking.
Literally.
So, but the reason why I like that story is because, like, instead of, like, you started Rockaway and then it just blew up and became a massive success, but you focus your energy on your own thing as opposed to trying to be included in somebody else's situation. So,
It's because I'm a general, not a soldier.
well,
That's what people have to understand. A soldier is never going to check a general, and you know you can't have so much expectation of a soldier or someone with a slave mentality. They resent your independence, and I had to learn that.
So do you feel that more emphasis should be put on supporting and growing, especially for black people, their own businesses as opposed to trying to be included in diversity programs and other people's businesses?
I'm a firm believer if you don't want me in your house or I don't like the rules, fuck your house. Either I'm buying your house and kicking you out, or I'm gonna build a bigger one and be more comfortable and you can't come over. And that's the way I approach things and always have.
So another area, and I wasn't aware of it, and it wasn't common to us, but you were involved in art before any of us go to school. And you know, you had your art gallery, Transcript, correct?
Yeah, y'all see the so, hey Nicolette,
Yeah.
can you take them to, we went to Jamaica, episode 1? Cause, you know, the good thing about it is,
Yeah.
talking that shit sounds good, but I can show you what I was doing. You feel me?
Yeah, but I heard.
You don't even have to visualize it, but we can still talk about shit.
Yeah, people were trying to figure out how you making money off the art gallery. So I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the good thing is like you would find the talent, buy all their artwork, and then travel around the world so people could see it, and that would raise the value of it. Is that true?
Yeah, you listen, yeah. Not yet, but the beginning, from the beginning. It's not.
Oh, this? Okay, that's the story.
Turn it up.
This is Jamaica?
Yeah, but this will give you the story. But the very beginning, just show you that time of the line. Give you the history. It's one of the story. No, play it.
Actually,
Wait, I don't understand. I don't get it. Oh, is that the very beginning? Yeah, it is. Okay. No, that's not the very beginning. The very beginning. The beginning of it. Look, that is the beginning. All smart ass things.
I created E172 to give independent, like-minded people a platform to create without any compromise in quality and living. Because after I did the project with the Black Keys, Black Rock, where I put a bunch of legendary hip-hop artists with some rock and roll with it, some live music, everybody wanted to do music.
My life is looking like an saying I was fucked up.
That then became Blue Rock. People started coming around trying to do creative things, and they took off. So we needed the bigger stage, and that turned into ED172. On the first floor, we had an art gallery.
My party was like,
On the basement, we had Under 100, which was a rock and roll club home for the coolest 100 people.
That was all
in the
you got?
city. On the third floor was Creative Control, which is my version of an internet television station. So we were always about evolving. We wanted to do everything we were doing in the city all over the planet. So I went to Jamaica on vacation and I ran into my friend LeBron's OGs who were supposed to be wealthy and wanted to do projects in Jamaica as well as looking for the same boat so they could take him on as a client. And I felt this was the perfect time to take the show on the road.
I started. Yeah, that's what it looked like. So
Troy,
that's what I was, and that looked like yesterday.
still fresh.
But this is what I was trying to get people to understand.
Yeah, artwork.
That was 2009, bro. 2010. 2020 right now.
It's a fact.
visionary. Troy appreciates that. So,
Shout out to Jamaica.
shout out to the Jamaican
Got a lot of
massive.
nice.
Yeah, so you should check that out. I went to go see SZA. I was in Judgment Yard. Getting hot. With SZA. Don't get no better than that.
It definitely doesn't.
Dane, one of the things that, you know, a lot of people talk about in business is that you have to be diplomatic.
No, you don't.
You don't believe in that?
Listen, I used to be a drug dealer. When your drugs are good, you ain't gotta be nice. You be like, yo, get online. I'm not taking no singers. And they happy to, because they're gonna get high. If you getting your client high, all you have to do is make sure they get high. And they'll stay on that line.
Okay, fair enough. So, when you talk about your music industry career, right? Because a lot of people, obviously, you've done so many different things. You start, well, I don't say a start, but that's what really kind of, put you on the radar for most people knowing you is music. So,
The first thing I did.
all right, well, good start. So, you have a foul taste in your mouth about the music industry, or are you still like optimistic about musicians? Like, yeah, what's your vibe on music? Because I feel like
I'll tell you, the industry is fake, full of shit. It's all about exploiting artists and hurting them and just taking all of their energy. Music is a lie, but the music industry is a farce.
So for up and coming artists,
Do it yourself.
no record label, no
Make them work for you. You know, don't do a record deal where you have to sell your whole ass 360. Be so hot, do your own shows, do your own residencies, and when they come through, be like, you'll give me some money, but it'll be distribute the shit that I own, period, or get out my fucking office, my club, or whatever.
So that was the purpose of your Underground 100, right? I read that you were like, listen, I'm only doing 100 because I know that these people are the localized fans. These people.
I wanted the
support.
100 of the coolest people.
Mhm.
I don't need no nerdy motherfuckers around. If you cool enough to know that it's going on,
Right.
and you cool enough to be there, then you cool. But if I don't want no corny motherfuckers, they could get it 10 years later. I don't like to be around cool people. I've always architected my bubble. I only want to be around cool opinion leaders, like-minded people. And I filter and I edit people.
You said something in that Breakfast Club interview that was, very controversial. I think I understood what you meant, but another one of the things that kind of looked at, you said you put money in the street. You're not really into saving too much. So I'm assuming what you meant by that is you're reinvesting your money into your businesses, like all money in, like Nick said. Is that something that you still? Well, hey, am I right by that interpretation? And is that something that you still kind of live by?
I don't see the purpose of holding money. I don't see the purpose. It's all about flipping. And at the end of the day, like everything I do is for my children. You know? When I get money, it goes to my kids.
I think that was like when I said that interview and a couple other ones changed my life. I think that was the most important thing that I heard. Just working in education, and then when you were saying like, yo, if you're doing something for yourself, then you're selfish. And I kind of resonated. I'm just like, damn. And in my mind, I'm like, look, I'm doing this. I've been busting my ass for 10 years in the education field. Countless
In the
hours.
education field?
Yeah.
You know what? To the OSG network, 90 principals, black principals.
Yeah,
I
I
heard
heard about
that.
I forgot the gentleman's name, but I got in touch with him and called him last week.
Dennis McKeely?
Yes.
Oh, I'll get you right with him.
Yeah.
He's ill. He's the Dame Dash of education.
So my thing
He's put together quite a crew.
Yeah, we touched base.
at that point,
He's ill.
I was like, yo, for all this work I'm doing,
That's a little nigga right there.
I can't give this degree to my son. I can't give this degree to my
We'll
daughter.
give you an OSG one.
Perfect. But yeah, that changed my mindset. It was like, yo, it was just an entrepreneurial mindset. Even though I was working in a 9 to 5, or 9 to 3 for education, it was like, yo, we got to create something. I got to create something or scale something so it can be passed on. So when I said I could change my life, like, that was it. But there's a quote that you say, and I want to know if it's a long-term goal or is it short-term goals that you put inside of the quote. You say every day start something new, finish something new. What is that?
Start something new and finish something that you had started before.
Every day.
Yeah.
And are we talking? So like, what would be a prime example of that?
We just started something new today, and the editor, is he still here? My man, is George here? There you go, right there. We're gonna finish that OG stories
Today.
today.
That's a fact. Dame, a lot of people listen to us, aspiring entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, right? People that's, learning. Because that's the thing about this is one of the reasons why I think our podcast has become so popular, especially in our culture.
You said it's not a podcast.
So, our show is so
The
popular.
brand is bigger than the podcast. All right.
You said it's not a podcast.
Okay. This is one of the reasons why people like the show so
Thank you.
much, right? Is that it's meant to
You have to talk your shit into existence. If you call it a podcast, then that's all it is.
All right. One of the reasons why people like Early Leisure is because it provides mentorship. right? Instead of people just having to figure it out on their own, they can learn from people that actually have gone through it and learn from their ups and their downs. So as far as like business, do you have any regrets that you might have done things like differently or maybe handled something differently, whether it's relationships or business or anything?
You know, it's crazy, right? Honestly, every single second of my life is meant, and everyone else's life, I think, is meant to be a learning experience. So when something happens that didn't go the way you wanted it to, you look at what you learned from it, right? And there's been businesses that I got completely robbed for short paper, but what I learned from it protected me from getting robbed for big paper. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm so happy in this very moment. I'm so happy, like scary happy. You know what I mean?
I think that's like a misconception.
In the middle of a pandemic, all my dreams are coming true, which is crazy to me. So I would have to say, if there was anything that would stop me from being this happy now, or that would change, it's like, is there anything I could have done that could have made me as happy as I am now? I'm happy now because every decision that most people thought would be tough, every business I walked away from, every person I walked away from, every person that I punished that everyone told me not to, from a Leo Cohen to a Harvey Weinstein, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I was in a position to do it. I'm glad I'm that guy, that these guys are known to be bullies and I bullied them. I'm the bully of bullies. I'm happy about that. So I love the fact that these challenges and these tests that presented themselves to me, and I can get in the shower, I'm like, damn, I really am a superhero. I never ever waver when it comes to honor, never have. I walked away from people that no one would walk away from. I barked on people that no one would bark on until everyone is barking on. I did it alone. Assalamu alaikum shalom. I think I could take them alone. That's one of my records.
Dane, so you said before the purpose of a business is to start a business and to sell a business. Is that still how you feel? Is this the goal of what we're doing now with the studios? Is it the multiple breakdown and sell it eventually?
Yeah. Either sell it or I'm making so much money I ain't gotta sell it. But yeah. Usually if I sell a business, it's so I can start a new one. But again, it's like, I'm so happy right now. I like this life that I'm living. I'm really happy.
Yeah, I mean, just watching from afar, it seems like you got a good balance.
I'm having a fucking ball. You know what it is to be a rock star your whole life? I'm hitting 50. I'm like, yo, this shit ain't even slowing down. You know, that's why I be in the gym. Like, I gotta stay in shape for this life. I'm having mad fun. Why would I stop having fun? I'm having mad fun, and I'm productive while I'm making money off having fun, and I'm learning so much more. And I'm around the people I want to be around. I'm like, damn, I wish I could have fucking figured this shit out earlier, but the timing was, I mean, like, if you listen, Nicolette.
Yeah.
Can you put Revolution on? This record we made last year. For some reason, I decided to be a rock star last year.
I've been watching.
Just go.
I've been watching.
You know what else? I'm a rock star. I be saying it.
Just woke up on some vibes.
10 songs a day?
Oh yeah, when Tash comes, we make like at least 10 songs and ideas that we could sharpen up.
Some real live guitars.
I'll play you some new shit that's.
I've been watching, man.
Yo, also, damn, I wonder if Kanye would get mad. But I want to play, I'm not going to play it live, but after I'm going to play some shit. I can't give it to you, but that nigga new shit is retarded.
Don't worry, nobody's listening.
Bro, that's
Young
retarded. Now look, I made this. year.
And you said the fight has always been economic freedom. I'm paraphrasing you, but
Economic empowerment.
Empowerment. What does group economics mean to you? What does
Because
that
everybody cops together, so everything's cheaper. And when one person gets fucked up, the other person that's doing well, or a couple of people can help out without them being hurt themselves.
So how can we implement that? You've been saying that for a long time as far as, black people have been saying that for a long time. How can we get some real life examples?
I'll give you one right now in a moment. When y'all walked in with your Lumixes and your cameras, I said, you guys are black and you're doing some cool shit in my brain. Let me give you the opportunity to have a television show for free and have me be your first guest so you can start calling the podcast. So I put my movie cameras out with my movie lenses and I put your logo in the background and I started shooting and I said, look, I'll just give you the footage. Did I not?
Yeah,
Did
absolutely.
I charge you for it?
No.
That's what it is. That's an example of it. And hopefully you realize it as it's happening.
No, that's the best. You did do that. We're appreciative of that.
And sat there and schooled you the game. Like, yo, you get money here, but you get money here too. And we spoke about certain things, and I gave you advice on how to approach it, correct?
That's fact.
That's how it's supposed to be, and that's free. Some people would have charged you a lot of money for that. For every single thing that I gave you for free today, including the interview. The cameras, most people would have charged. The studio, most people would have charged. I even said, let me get your logo so I could put it on the screen so everybody could see it, and gave your man a drink. Just for doing it.
2 drinks.
Wait for the second one.
And I made sure you were safe.
Fact.
Lock the doors.
That's how you do it. Yeah, lock the doors and make sure everybody hears help.
Yeah.
Both wars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
No, it's very responsible. The COVID test, very, very responsible.
Everybody's clear.
Yeah,
Leadership.
but the thing is, and here's another thing. Literally, how long did it take me to get an interview? I didn't even speak to King. He sent me a text. Because he's a black man and I appreciate his opinion. And I know he would never bring me no bubblegum shit and he should only want to help. Then I felt he was trying to help. Did I give you any answer?
No, you
Yeah,
didn't.
man.
Was it relatively easy?
Yeah.
Did I put you with an assistant?
You did not.
Alright, that's how you do it.
So how do we get more people on that type of wave?
Yeah, 'cause I feel
Leading
like
by example and showing it's profitable. Soldiers only going to do what's profitable and what everybody else is doing. But generals do that shit anyway, it's just not many of them.
I don't know. I mean, that's the only word I can think of, right? Because there's been plenty of times we reached out to people, and it hasn't been this season. And it, like I said,
Not
a
only
lot
the
of people
season,
out.
I even shot it for you.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, big.
That's a fact.
I did it for you. I ain't got no money to make out of this shit. But if you make something from this,
We're gonna be streaming.
So,
well, what I would do from now on is because you were here for a while, I'd say, yo, bring your show here and put it on the network. If you want. Unless you want to keep shooting in your house with the little cameras, with whatever that shit was. Peek behind you like, oh look better. So not only am I gonna tell you what you should do, I'm gonna help you do it.
so like the economic and the political climate, like this is unprecedented time. Black Lives Matter. Everybody.
Great time.
Leaders get to you. Like, what's the process, right? If
They
I
don't
have,
get to me.
what's the process?
You gotta get to you to get to me. I don't want to talk to anybody. I got shit to do. But what I'm doing is I'm empowering other people so that they can empower other people. That's what I'm doing. You might be younger than me. You know, you still feel like being out there. You running around. So I'm gonna give you the power to distribute whatever power I got to who you curate. Because you're doing such good shit.
Appreciate it.
Gotcha.
They say, we always learn the average millionaire has 7 streams of income, multiple streams of income. But I feel like that's something that you always did, was have multiple streams. You never know when a well's going to dry up, so you got to have other ones. So that's something that you just knew early on. Like, what's your theory behind having multiple different avenues working at the same time?
Okay, imagine this. Imagine your number one artist after his first album saying, I quit. That's Jay-Z.
He quit after, what do you mean?
He retired after Reasonable
It's
Doubt.
supposed to be his first and last album.
Did he?
Yeah, it's supposed to be his first.
15 albums later, yeah. So, you know, from that day, I was like, well, I ain't depending on this nigga.
Or build a roster.
What?
But how long did he retire though? Like it was like a month. He had
I don't know.
volume one.
He didn't retire.
Big pass. He just passed in his body.
Nigga, how many fucking retirements did this nigga
A
do?
lot.
Alright, so
Oh,
yeah. I lost count how many times he retired.
So
And I don't even care.
that pushed you to just diversify.
Yeah, it was like 19.
Damn, that was that young?
It wasn't only that, it was just that I was a guy that just thought I could do everything better. So it was like, I'm fresher than Ralph Lauren. I know it. I met this nigga. I'm fresher than him. I know I am. I know I'm cooler than Harvey Weinstein. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I done shook this nigga down. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is
He's not doing one.
It's my little man. You know? I see what Charlie, you know, all these dudes, Charlie Watts, Leo Cohen's, I'm like, this nigga, you know what I'm saying? Y'all scared of him? It's my little man. So,
The big only exposure.
That's the reason.
so for me, I'll be like, yo, any industry, like now I'm in TV, I'm like, Lauren from fucking Week TV, fucking Tara Long.
So,
How could they be fucking telling the cool nigga what to do?
that was your show? The Grown Up Hip?
I was an executive producer.
Executive producing it?
Yeah, but it's all, you know, it was
Because your son was involved with the show.
my son, and then my daughter, you know, my family. I did it only to get my son on, and it really f***ed his life up to me, you know, and they did it intentionally. So f*** them.
Oh, okay. So
I got a lawsuit. There's money on your head, and I'm gonna embarrass you. Remember that. I'm gonna call your name out, and all your kids' friends are gonna know I'm coming at you for the right reasons. I see. That's the thing that makes me the unicorn. You name another cat besides me that before the revolution or even after that actually calls out white people's name. Name one. I'll wait.
Nah, we've been fighting for the.
Nah. I said name somebody else that does that.
In the entertainment or just in general?
I mean, whatever, man.
Our generation?
Any generation, but yeah.
So when you call out Leo Combs of the world, is that out of built up frustration?
I didn't build up. I've been calling him out. I had to build up. I've been calling him out since the day I met him. I've been screaming on Leo publicly for
So
days.
you never respected him. Talk the real.
No,
Talk the real.
never.
All right.
Your man respected him. I never knew why.
Jay-Z.
I knew you, man.
So I got a question. So we was fans of like just that whole culture, just music. That's how we grew up on music. So like, you know, that President's video with you, Big, Jay, AZ, like.
You want to hear a funny story about that video?
I do.
I told it to Dennis today, actually. You know, after a lot of bullshit, we finally we got cool with Biggie, and he came to the video. It was our first time hanging out, and you know, I got into a drinking contest with him, and you know, he was a lot heavier than me, and I ended up playing myself, getting too drunk and not remembering. And I woke up the next day and like, you know, it was actually the only time I ever seen Jay really mad at me. He was like, yo, you was no good. I was like, what you talking about? So I called Biggs. He was like, man, he was drunk. He was holding this nigga chain, jumped in his car. I was like, what?
In Big's car?
No, in Biggie's car.
I was saying Big's car.
Yeah,
Big's car.
yeah. I guess he wasn't driving or whatever. I don't remember. So, you know,
Every crew got one.
yeah. So that night, me and Biggs went down to Daddy's house and was, you know, like, look, I was drunk. Don't take that. And then we hired them to perform. The thing was we were gonna have Biggie headline so that Jay could open for him. So that was the business we handled that day. But then every day after that I saw Biggie was on, and we would have drinking contests. So, you know, the you know when you go like stink mink gators.
Yeah, my choice.
Yeah, that was because we was at the Bobby Brown birthday, and he was supposed to perform with Puff, but me and him got into a drinking contest. But this time I was like, I'm gonna go throw up behind the curtain, so I won't get too stupid. So I went through up, made myself throw up on some anorexic and what's that, anorexic shit. I was happy. But this nigga ended up throwing up on his mink. So that's why they was calling it the stink mink after that. They called it the stink mink gators that came from that story. But it's funny because I really, you know, Biggie was really my man.
So yeah, like I was like, did you really?
Yeah, it's
Did
crazy.
you understand that moment? Because y'all was young. I don't know how old you
Hell
were.
yeah,
21, like,
I knew
did
that
you-
moment.
You
That's
got
why
the
I take,
management of it?
yeah,
You understood that?
I mean,
Nigga, you could have never told me I'm not Dame Dash. and I wasn't gonna be Dame Dash. I knew everything I was doing was historic. You couldn't have told me, and even now, it's not a second I come outside that I don't think I'm making history. Nigga, we making history right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm a history maker. So that's why I document everything, because I look cool every day.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Looking cool every day is important.
You gotta keep your fresh up at all times.
Just, you know, the right shit. You gotta be a rock star all the time.
Keep your shoes clean, keep your nails clean. It's
Just
funny.
be a
'Cause
rock star. Like, just be right.
we watched you in those times, and it was like, yo, you seem like the happiest guy on earth.
I was the happiest, and I still am.
And that's what I'm saying. Now it's like people look at you and it's like, oh, Dame, he's has attitude problem. He's hard to work with, and it's like, nah, you're actually the happiest.
What do you expect a slave to say? You
No,
expect a
really.
soldier to know what a general's happiness is? You know, a soldier doesn't know what a win feels like unless the general was winning. A slave doesn't ever know what the win is. They think the win is a good meal. You know? So I have no expectation of a slave understanding my happiness, and I don't give a fuck. Keep thinking, really thinking about how I feel is the wrong thing. Think about how you feel. If you're taking pills for depression, don't think about me.
Word of advice. From a musical standpoint, something I always wondered about, because there was always rumors. Did you ever make Cameron the VP of Rockefeller, and did that lead to like some real issues?
You on this tip, huh? Of course I made Cameron a VP. I also made Beanie Siegel a VP. Anyone that had a label with me was considered a VP. And that was actually the moment I realized I'm getting the fuck away from these guys. They're not the right. You know what I'm saying? I was like, forget it. You know what I'm saying? That's all it was, man. You should have heard the conversation we had. Like Jay was on the yacht. That was the first vacation we were on. He like made this call, and it was like, "Are you kidding me?" And then Beanie was mad. I'm like, "But you're a VP too." And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Forget it. I don't even care. I was just trying to help everybody. Everyone that gets a label, you become a VP. I'm just trying to empower you. Niggas was on the phone like, so I gotta go to them to get my fucking videos approved. I was like, did you ever have to go to anybody to get your videos? Like, bye. It became a bye situation. I couldn't talk about it too much.
I mean, you say property came out of that, and then you got
Out of what?
Out of that time frame when say
A lot of
property
things
came.
came
That's what I'm saying.
And I made him a VP.
And you got 2 films out of it.
Yeah.
I directed one.
Yeah.
Well, education. I'm interested to know you said you got a network. I heard about this from previous, like the gentleman that just mentioned. He told me like you speak to principals.
90.
So yeah, can you talk about that?
OSD
Talk about that.
network.
I want to know more about that.
Listen, instead of complaining about curriculum and the way education is approaching us as a culture, Dennis McKeezy has curated like these like principles that really give a fuck and do things out of love. And you know, Lays from MOP, and he's like the Dame Dash MOP, just called me and was like, yo, I want you to jump on this Zoom with me. I wasn't even paying him no mind. I'm like, whatever, that's my man, so I'm gonna do it. I trust him. Mm-hmm. I jumped on the Zoom and I'm really like looking at shit. I'm like, 90 black principals? I didn't even know there was black principals. And they mad cool, smart. They want to do shit. Yeah. So instead of complaining about education, the fact that they make us prepare to be slaves, you go in any school, it smells, it's lit, and the walls look like a jail.
Yep.
You sit in a room while the sun is out and sit behind a desk for 8 hours and leave your parents, which is similar to what a job is, and you only see your parents when you and your parents are tired. And that just seems like programming to me. And these principals were trying to relate to these kids and giving me factual about how to help them. And they're all geniuses and brilliant and creative and fly. And they're the ultimate think tank for me. And they all deserve to be famous, and they all deserve to have all their dreams come true because they made so many others' dreams come true.
So you working with like curriculum,
curriculum, everything, yes. Making education for us.
Yeah, I mean,
by us.
Or by us.
Not by me.
Yeah.
By intuition, real principles that have been sitting with children all over the world. And this ain't even just like 90 in the country, it's all over the world.
Well, I think the struggle, and I've worked with principals obviously pretty closely, The struggle is like they can have their ideas, but a lot of times those ideas stay in that school.
They're not
and
even
it's
that.
tough to scale.
It's still a job. They have to protect their job.
And so like that's the other part of it. It's like, look, we can have these ideas for how we want to teach our kids. We can create the curriculum, but they still have to meet state mandates, and that's where the roadblock comes in. It's like, well,
I'm not a soldier. I don't depend on government to teach me either, because they're only going to teach me what behooves them, and that's all I've seen them do. Make people think that unless they go to college and get a 9 to 5 and get debt, they're doing the wrong thing, and that they should only be happy when they're 65 and old. And I'm not doing that.
So that puts the principal in that position, right? Like they still have to answer to somebody. So I'm thinking to myself, is the role now to create an independent school where you're not?
That's what we're doing.
Okay, that's what I was going with. So like that's the goal of.
That's one of the goals.
Okay.
But it's also an independent act. It's also an independent place to just give people information. It's also a place to give people a place to communicate and talk about problems, so we can get action.
Right.
Bringing attention and awareness to problems without a solution is nothing but frustrating and depresses people. Don't tell me the problem if you ain't got a solution. Unless you want to go fight, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like education. I think too many times people feel education only happens in school, but it's like education can happen on the internet.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous. Only thing that happens in school is debt.
yeah, basically.
Indoctrination.
Sometimes you really train you to become, like I said, a worker, really.
But look how insane white people are about what it looks like to have a fake education, to the extent that they were buying and motherfuckers is doing jail time because of perception of having an education that doesn't even matter. It's not even a fucking, it's systematic racism of human. It's not, like, to me, racism is just to separate broke people. For broke people to fight each other so that they don't fight the rich people. That's it. What's a white racist? He's usually cracked, living with dip spit in a hut. Like, I lived in North Carolina, I'd be online and niggas out there, Confederate flag, and go back to the car, I'd be laughing, I'm getting in the Porsche. Of course you mad. How many rich racists is on the front line of KKK?
But there are a lot of rich racists, though.
Nigga, they racist just because they want to stay rich. Okay, how is it racism in Kanye? Gap is the most all-American institution, and they put a black man name in front of it.
Well, it's for itself. They want, you got reference.
So it's not racism. When it comes to money, white people gonna put a black man name in front of theirs. What are you talking about?
But is
Look at
that?
the Germans and fucking.
But is that business? Because you can still be racist and do business with somebody and make money.
Who cares? You can't be racist if I can fire you. I don't care. Go in the bathroom and scream nigga all you want. You're fired. I'm your boss. You should be racist. You should be mad you got a boss. You want to blame it on me? Go ahead. But you can't do shit to me for it. A racist can't stop me from getting money.
No, absolutely. But
All I do with a racist is hire them and work them to make them my slave.
Elijah has spoken.
Leo is a slave for my culture. Get your ass out there and get my people some money. Leo, you're a slave. Tara, you are slave now. We gotta make the narrative right. They get money off us. How come we not the masters if they making money off us? Cause they tell us they our boss. Nigga, I'm your boss. You making money off me? You my slave. I'ma hire you. You know what I did on Growing Up Hip Hop? To what's her name? Nicolette, who was our line producer for OG Stories.
Oh shit. What's her name?
What the fuck's her name? The showrunner. I told her, yo, stop telling me what to do. I'm gonna be your boss. And then I did the OG Stories and hired her to fucking be the fucking showrunner for my show. I'm your boss now. Don't pretend you a boss. I'ma pay you. It ain't racism, it's suckerism. Don't try to make me think because You think I'm black? That you better than me? Just because you say so? Show me that. Nigga, you rob me, you gotta show me your gun. Period. And if I show you mine, I'm using it.
So how did he, like people like the Leos of the world, Todd Moshua, it's like,
Bench Leo. Now he gotta run behind YouTube's people. He's out the music business.
did they just rise to power just by...
There ain't no power.
I mean...
He don't have power. What power?
When he was the head of Deck Gen.
That wasn't no power. He was my little man. He used to work for me at Rockefeller. I would go get my budgets cleared and shut up. That nigga knows no power. He ain't on shit at Rockefeller. What power? So you giving him power?
I ain't give a power. I'm saying...
Why you saying he had power?
I said... Well,
By title.
I was saying...
Title? Who's title? To who?
No, I'm just saying by
I
title.
didn't get that nigga no title. His title is my little man.
Look, what I was
That was his title.
What I was going with this is that people in that position, right? As far as...
They fronting. They not in that position.
Well, what I'm saying is that
They're
has...
supervisors. They not bosses. It ain't there.
So it has to be a certain level of perception that is giving them certain authority.
No, it's a certain level of you believing perception that's giving him a certain.
Well, we didn't know. We
I told you he was a little. He's my little.
You
man.
said that, but there's a bunch of other rappers that have praised him.
I told those rappers that that's your little man. Ask Norman. I said Leo's a sucker. Ask Norman. He'll tell you. I told every artist Leo's a sucker. Yeah.
Okay.
Fair exchange.
Collaboration. You're not opposed to collaboration.
I do it all the time.
I think it's a key. Something that we don't do enough of. Collaboration.
I do. We just collaborated right now.
I'm just saying not us. I'm just saying in general. In general.
Well, yeah, in general, but now you're in the presence of a general. So that's the reason why that's not even in my vernacular. I don't have people around me that don't do that. And all I do is say, look, I'm going to televise my revolution because I don't want to snub you. I'll be in here doing it, but you're still going to see I'm in your pocket, in your phone.
Yeah. Can we maybe shift gears a little bit and because it's something also that
You can do whatever you want, bro.
we
You don't have to
we-
announce the question, just ask it.
Not we mind from a distance, man. That's like I said, that you had balance in your life, obviously.
Have what?
Balance.
Yeah.
Fatherhood is balanced you. I know you're in a relationship.
It fucking humbles me.
How is like that was my thing. How has that been over the past few years? And now that you have teenagers that are growing, you have a son. Obviously,
I'm loving being a dad and going through everything I heard about. I love it.
What do you mean you heard about?
You know, you hear about your kids acting a certain way at a
Okay.
certain time and it happens. And knowing how to deal with it. I'm loving being a dad and everything that comes with it. Everything. Even the tears.
Yeah.
Loving people more than yourself feels so good. And that's what we gotta understand. If you have one car and it's a coupe, you're a selfish motherfucker. If you have an apartment and you have children, and you have a one bedroom, and you're happy, you're not getting it. You gotta get your life together. I'm happy when my kids have houses. My daughter Ava showed me her crib the other day. I'm so proud of me and her. My other daughter, right? This is how I knew I was doing my job. Because I do get at my daughters because they go to school and they also get brainwashed. So my daughter Tallulah loves school and all she knows in life is she wants to go to college. I said, what's your dream job? I don't know. What's your dream? I don't know. You want to go to college? Yeah. How you know that? Because you were told that. I bet you want a 9 to 5 too, don't you? What's a 9 to 5? I did my job. That made everything to me. I don't care about nothing.
But your daughter still went to college though, right? Like
This Ava. Absolutely. Yeah, Ava went to college to make her mother's dreams come true. She's a model and she also works for me, but she's working for herself.
So would you not encourage your kids to go to college?
I encourage them to do whatever makes them happy, not me or their mother or their parents.
Okay. Fair enough. Family business, is that something that you have aspirations for your children to?
What do you mean? Rachel Roy? A&Dash Studios?
No, I'm saying as far as we're talking about your children, like.
They can run this business if they want. This is theirs. This is their business. I'm not working for me, I work for them. If you work for you, you're working for the wrong cause. And if you don't work for your wife, your girl, significant other, you ain't doing it right.
What's on your vision board for the next 20 years? Like, what's the next? Obviously, we in the Game Dad Studios right now, but I seem like you're always thinking ahead of time. So, what's your on your vision board for the next?
Next is sports.
Sport management.
I'm sick of complaining about leagues and getting into these racist leagues. I'm starting my own leagues. Fuck being a team.
Yeah, I saw you did. There's a deal you have with is it the NBA XL?
Mm-hmm.
Is that are you part ownership of that, or you just broadcasting it?
We're working all. The business of it is not all solidified.
Okay, but it's gonna be on the network, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, and those games are starting.
I put you with anything to do with him so he can tell you. Or my agenda is to do that in every sport. I have a network, I'll promote it, and my league's gonna be way funner than anybody's league and way fly.
I think it can happen. People doubt its IQ, but that
It
league
can happen.
Yeah,
It's happening.
I'm saying if you're on league,
It's happening.
there you have it. It's happening.
Ain't no it might happen. It can happen. It's happening.
So
What's happening is it's happening.
the legit stuff, is it 5-on-5 or is it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's 5-on-5. So from what my understanding of it, and maybe you can help me out with that, is that it's really for almost like a developmental league for people who haven't made.
Nah.
It's a pro league.
It's a no.
Yeah. No, we're not doing semi-pro. We're doing pro ball.
Nah, it says like the G League is a developmental.
Who told you that? Who said
No, I didn't know. That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna be a G League. I'm gonna own a G League. I'm an A League.
Facts.
Say less.
Yeah, we can
You think I aspire my dream is to have a G League?
Facts.
So Nicolette, give me some orange juice. I'm sorry, I love you, Nicolette. I love Nicolette. See, that's why her dreams have to come true because she makes orange juice.
Cause I get orange juice for you?
Say that on.
No.
No, you said the camera.
No.
Say it on the camera.
Nope.
Say it. That's what I thought. I will let her yell at me on camera. Because I love her. Because she gives love all day long.
So we got basketball and then
Everything.
all sports after that.
Everything. But also, I want to make a sport profitable out of like something like educational, like debating. Like my problem with education is they also enable us. So, like for a certain class, you think the only way to get out of it is entertainment or athletics, and you devote your whole life to playing basketball, and that's like lotto. And you get hurt the majority of the time before you get there, and they don't have a plan. And the reason why people devote their whole life to it and go to basketball in school is because they think they can make money.
Yeah.
So let's make something educational profitable and make a team out of that. Don't you think they're smart enough to know that educationally, that if we make them think they could be, they like facilitate, they're enablers. School is enabling.
We lived off that line. Like that was when y'all put that line out, and that was the first lesson I ever taught. When it was like hip hop literacy. It was like all black guys sports and entertainment. Like that preference us to go into development of how many other people are famous and not even famous, but have created wealth from outside of the sports and entertainment industry. So that's kind of how we were
Well,
feeling.
you got a much better chance of maybe being an entrepreneur than being the top rapper. That's for sure.
You guys are funny, man. I'm not laughing. I'm not lying. He's funny. Oh, guys, you.
Big homie?
You.
I'm the big homie.
Yeah, you're the big homie. You guys should do a fucking scripted TV show. I'm a scripted.
Now we get you.
The thing is,
I got
we knew each other for 30 years. So
I get it. Yo, I got script. Nicolette,
What?
can you ask Valor if he's finished with that script for
Let's do it.
the next? I have a script. No, y'all doing. Y'all have
It's
to
like
do it.
Entourage on
You
steroids.
guys, no, it's saying like Entourage. It's a scripted movie, and I think you guys should be a movie.
I'm about to call myself a young Dane.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't take it too far.
You feel
I
my
said you're funny. You like me.
I'm fly too.
Now you wasn't far.
And you got on white pants.
See?
The Snapchat.
I'm not snapping.
With Game Dash Studios, scripted TV show. Sounds good.
It's dope.
It's funny how you said
Sounds
that.
great.
Funny.
No, yeah.
We'll discuss
Oh,
that.
she live too. Shout out to
Oh, she's been live. Everybody's watching. Everybody's watching.
Oh, it's on IG right now?
Yes.
Oh, shout out to IG. What's
Shout out
going
to
You on my energy.
I
Yeah.
warned y'all. I
Yeah,
did.
we told you. You know what it is.
And they tagged everybody.
Dane,
You're better.
appreciate you.
That's it.
Any more questions, Troy?
Nah, I just wanted to, pay homage, man. Like, I honestly, we have grown up watching you, and these guys know, man. Like, Rockefeller was, I felt like I was part of that shit, man. The way that.
It was a part of it.
That's
Yeah,
like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, we watch and study y'all moves. Even the way
Man, we did some bullshit at the end.
yeah, but that's fine though, because you did that so we don't have to. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah, you're right. You
that's
learn
what-
from it.
That's one of the things
It might
that
have
you
been
preach
the
about.
sacrificial lamb so everyone could learn from it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
we definitely took
I
that.
wear that because we didn't lose. I didn't lose too much money.
Yeah, but no, we want to give you your flowers because, like I said, I mean, you definitely was a major inspiration for us on the business side.
They're gonna give me some flour. Where is that?
Right, where the flowers at?
Like with
No
the-
flour.
I'm gonna go to the dispensary right now. I'm gonna go to the
I
dispensary.
don't buy no dispensary weed.
For real?
I'll give you a number to call.
What's the number? You get whatever you want.
I'll give it to you in a minute. Damn, I just ordered some shit.
But yeah,
most days.
We're smoking new weed right now. It's that new weed.
That's that new?
It's that new OG.
any last words for up and coming entrepreneurs, people that know guidance?
There's never last words for an entrepreneur. If you bit with the entrepreneur bug, you're always gonna want more. But self-care is important. Make sure you get some sleep. And make sure you celebrate yourself. And make sure you're enjoying yourself. You know, I'm a firm believer in I would never do anything and get paid for it unless I would do it for free. So you didn't pay me for this, but I could get paid for this. You know what I'm saying?
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Troy, housekeeping item?
Yeah, shout out to everybody on patreon.com. That's our product pay program. We appreciate y'all support. Y'all know tier 4 and
Go
5.
get call of action if you want to support.
Oh yeah.
Everyone in this room right now, please order Dame Dash Studios from your phone. And everyone that hears
Correct.
this, if you're actually believing what I'm saying about the support thing, just fucking support.
Plain and simple.
Just
What's
fucking
the
order.
link? What's the link?
Dame Dash Studios. Ain't no link.
Studios.com?
.com. You can get it. You have an iPhone. I hope so.
I'm big, so I
We don't do it.
don't date chicks if they don't got an iPhone.
Okay, but the answer is yes.
Yes, I'm looking at it right now. I'm going to get it.
So you can go get it on iTunes or whatever iStore.
Dame Dash Studios. I got it.
iTunes is going now, right?
Whatever it is.
The
That's
episode,
the
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, oh, so
Anywhere that you can get Netflix, you can get my shit.
go get that. And like we said, tier 4 and 5, y'all know you got access to EYL University, the number 1 online
Because
business school in
this
the world.
show is also going to be on my shit.
Independence is art. Sometime
There you go. There you go.
I got you, man.
OG.
And shout out to everybody that's been supporting the merch on EYL, we got a bunch of merch for you.
Access over liability.
That's our
That's
slogan.
our slogan that we running with. It's a lot of copycats that took our.
We got you
Can never
every
take
flavor, every flavor.
Well, we got trademarks
What's the
on it.
logo?
The logo on the back.
On the back.
We got a couple different logos, but that's the logo that we going with.
I'm
That's funny. That is very similar to the OSG network.
$49.99 a year.
You gotta go with the OSG. You gotta go with them.
Join that one.
Yeah, no, we going to link.
They flying out here.
Yeah, he told me. We going to link.
Well, you need to fuck with Dennis.
Yeah,
That's
I'm all set. I made it account.
yeah. He's a big supporter of Bernie Legion. Shout out to him. Shout out to
Really?
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. That nigga's on the pulse.
Tells you something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so shout
Yeah,
out
I'm
to everybody
on the
support.
post.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
That's a big thing.
But like I said, either way, you was going to end up here.
Yo, we
Because you know Kenny Burns, you know, I hired him to be the president of rock music for,
Yeah.
yeah.
told us the stories about
Told the
that.
stories.
He did?
Yeah. We was on it for a while.
Yeah.
And then
What did he tell you? What did he tell you?
he said he loved his time up there, man. He had war stories. More of his war stories were prior to coming to Rockefeller. But
A lot of stories with Diddy. Him and Diddy.
Yeah.
A lot of-
I was talking about my story.
Your stories? It didn't really
Did
involve
he tell you
your
about,
stories.
did he tell you about the time that I went into Puff's office?
I just told them about that.
He told you about it?
When you did the interview with him, I was watching.
Oh,
I'm trying to tell you, like, I really followed you, bro.
Oh, but the security thing?
When
That's the security thing. I just
they called D-Rock on you.
They called you.
Yeah. Yo, bro, didn't I just tell you?
He said that.
Then they go out, I'm like, yo, yeah.
Like you
nah.
calling security.
That's it. He was like, nah, we ain't called security. He like, nah, you called D-Rock. That's as good as security, bro. I just wanted to talk to him.
D-Rock?
That's like how Russ.
Like, I know this.
Off the office.
You just want to have a
Just have
conversation?
a conversation.
Yeah.
Friendly conversation.
I'm not sure. That would be interesting to see. I'm sure y'all
I
had a
got it on
bunch of
tape.
those.
I have it on tape.
That's what you told him, too. Or when you did, when you did
Okay, I got
the
tape too.
Were you able to have the conversation?
Yeah. It was. I'll show it to you.
Anything got wrong?
No.
Yeah, a computer got it.
Oh,
He threw his computer.
he threw the computer up.
Well, he was watching me say like, "Yo, Puff, call me," because I was saying some. I ain't gonna. We made a pact not to talk about those things.
There you have it. Now, Kenny, he told us a story about when Cameron screamed at him.
Which one? Cameron.
Which one?
Cameron used to be on Percocets a lot because of his stomach. So it used to, it's
Mood change, yeah. Okay, that explains it. Dane. Say my name, make you dash like Dane. There you have it.
Biggie Small said that.
That's a fact. The legendary.
That's a stat. I want you to know that I fully embrace the stat of Biggie Small saying my name in a rhyme. I'm enjoying it. I know what it means. Like a fan. Like as if I never knew him, I know what it means. That's how much I'm enjoying life right now. I know the history, I'm enjoying the history. I'm marinating it like wine. Being right is crazy. Everyone told you were wrong.
Yeah. I saw that. They put the post up. Yo, Dave was right all along.
I knew I was right.
Charlamagne apologized, I think, to you, right? He said
Oh,
that.
yeah.
He said that.
You saw the interview.
No, he didn't.
Look, when I got back to the Breakfast Club, it was tightened up.
No, you can like
It was a different breakfast.
As far as the real estate and anything, I'm pretty sure.
Listen. I was like, next time I walk up in here, I want to shake your hands, and I did. I was proud of my work that day. That day, I was like, oh, I'm ill.
What was the other interview? It was like, yo, 20 years ago I was a DJ. 20 years ago you
I
were
was
a
a
DJ.
fan.
Like that, I was
That was a
like,
legendary
oh, wow.
situation.
That was
Which
crazy.
one?
Nah, you was like 20 years ago I was a CEO, you was a DJ. 20 years later, I'm a CEO, you still a DJ.
I said that.
Where's the growth?
Shout out to Envy. Envy was on. He was on.
Yeah, I wrote it down. So I was like,
He was
Ooh,
on.
I be on one.
DJ Envy was
I gotta look at the interview again. I don't even remember saying that.
DJ
I said that.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave said that.
But yeah,
That
yeah,
nigga's
he
ill.
definitely said that.
That nigga be bugging. He be zapping out.
You never know sometimes.
You never know what he gonna say. He don't even know what he. That shit
That's the crazy thing. It's live.
That shit be live. That shit was live.
Yeah.
That was it.
But yeah, he was on the podcast. Him and Caesar. Shout
Shout out
out
to them. Yeah,
But I definitely.
Caesar, he sells the crib, right?
Yeah.
He was here.
Yep.
Yeah.
He told us
He talked about the whole situation.
Do It All was doing that shit. Him and his man in Jersey too. They're like the originators.
What's his name?
Fernando.
Do It All from Lloyd's Underground.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
He's actually put me with.
He was in one of your things.
Nah. He's pure in the game with me. He put me with the Bishop Pennell Yah Squad, who was the educator of where racism starts, religion. You know, he even made it clear to me to understand that the proper translation of the real name of Jesus is Yahshua. And the Jesus is a European translation, and nothing that took place in the Bible happened in Europe. So why do we all worship a name that's a European translation? Well, just logically. And he was the first person, the bishop, to break that down to me in such an eloquent way, with such aggression. He's the Dame Dash of history, of religion. And then also I talked to Billy Carson, who I haven't spoke to since he launched his app. I was like, yo, bro, call me, man. And he is telling me the original origin of history, you know, the Anunnaki shit, where we're really from, how human was even made, just based on text that they don't tell us. Just based on religion, we come from being modified from people from another planet.
I heard that and you were talking about the hieroglyphics.
Yeah. So, you know, that's what's on the network. That's the Galaxy Network, the Yah Squad Network, the OSG Network. These are people that are better at me, better than me, but they know intelligently about the things that I personally believe need to be fixed. Like I've had an aunt since I was a teenager, I've always had a honk on me. That cross never made sense to me because it only represented phallic men. You know, when it sticks on, this represents a woman and a man. God is a combination of both on this planet. But the man's job is to be a slave. I do firmly believe that women are God, logically, because they make life, and isn't that what God does? Right? That's what God is, right? So, who, what on this planet creates life? So how could they not be God? Just logically. Put your ego to the side. How could a woman not be God if she creates life and we can't? Logically.
Well, I think that man plays a part in creating life. It's like when no man is no, there's no creation.
Actually,
you can't. There's no like.
No. Let me just say this. Before there was men, women actually could create life without men.
Like immaculate conception.
Yeah, not immaculate conception. It was. I'll show you this. But again, we don't. Like my girl, my wife, Raquel Holmes Dash, is pregnant right now with my baby. I had a part in it, but that baby's in her.
Congratulations.
But it's in her. It's growing in her. Her body is the one that's going through a physical change. She's the one whose hormones are on a different level.
Right.
She's the one who has to have a 6 to 8 pound come through a hole this big. We ain't doing it. She's the one that has to have a period every month and be in pain just so she can create life. Is that not the case?
That's true.
That's true.
You know, she's the one that doesn't have physical muscle because of lack of testosterone, which is generated by our testicles, to go physically do work. So if we're here to make muscle to go physical work, I just believe our role in this world is to be a slave for a woman. And that's the only way you can be a king is if you're a slave for a queen. That's just how I feel.
When did you get to that point? Because I know you were doing the invest in women thing, man. I thought that was extremely powerful. But at what point did you get to that declaration or that thought process when it came to women?
It was an evolution of thought, but it started with Leah. You know, she really was, it was like royalty with me. Her presence was royal. You know?
Yeah.
And then the feeling that I got from Raquel was similar to the feeling that I felt from Aaliyah, and it's just a royalness about it. It's just I just feel the need to serve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's powerful. Extremely powerful.
Absolutely.
Dane, once again, we appreciate you, good brother. Shout out.
I'm like in awe of this, really.
That's just
crazy.
It's crazy. Like I
Speak
think
into existence.
we had that conversation. Like I texted him, like, yo, remember when we said you're gonna get dated?
Well, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Because I know that there are people that I wanted to meet, and when I meet them, it's not what I thought it would be. So, what did you think this experience would be like from beginning to end, just the experience in general?
Honestly, I thought it would be just like this.
Yeah, pretty
I really thought it was gonna be just like this, and it did not disappoint. I was
pretty
like,
much is how I envisioned it.
yeah, it's kind of crazy. I texted him today. I'm like, yo, February 29th, 2019, your page followed us, and I was like, yo, bro, they ain't following us. Like, we really.
What's your page? What's your page?
On your leisure, on Instagram.
That's yours? Wow. You know, it's funny because I follow random shit if things on it that's interesting.
Yeah, I was like, I still got the. I texted him today, like, yo, bro, that was February, and I'm like, yo, damn, like, I think
That's
we on
crazy.
something.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was yours.
yeah.
That was a random thing.
It-
I think you might have came up on my
Popular page.
You came up on my feed because of Billy Carson, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that, I mean, he meant everything us.
Yeah, it's a big deal for us.
Straight up, bro. And he texted me like, yo, we gotta get Dean and we gotta get Master P, and I think both those things can happen in the spring. And we were like, let's do it. And then we had Nipsey on the list, and then 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, my interaction with Nipsey was so interesting.
Man, how is
Yeah, how was that?
Because for us, the reason why we really wanted to, because we're a business podcast, and he just really, he's
Well,
one of these guys that's just
he
so
was,
business wise.
Well, he had such a level of respect,
Yeah.
you know, for real and I had never met him, and he actually came to a book signing of mine in a club. And when I heard, I was on my way out, I heard he was there, I came back. I didn't leave, I just went back to, and we spoke. And every second was knowledge, like he was picking my brain. And then, you know, we exchanged numbers and we spoke about some other personal things. You know, I still got this text that we spoke about. He was just a sponge. And I could like see him applying things daily. And I really did like, and the dude that I consider my therapist, but he's a friend that gives me therapy when we talk, or he has therapeutic conversations with me, Taj, he's like a real good friend of his. And it was like losing Biggie.
Yeah.
It was like losing Lear. Like knowing someone personally and their potential. And he was like realizing his potential. I was like looking at what he was gonna look like in 10 years already.
Right.
I was like, he's gonna be ill in 10 years. In 15, he's gonna be sick. He's still gonna be young. So it's like, when you're doing things that are important, you gotta tighten up. And the only light I could get out of that was to learn from it. And that experience made me tighten up. But it was sad and it hurt. And it still does. Because I always like, when I see potential, I always wonder like, what the fuck would Aaliyah be today? What would Biggie be today?
Big L.
Big L. You know?
Tupac.
Tupac, Big Pun.
Because these people,
I
What
mean,
would it be today? Like, look who I am today. Who would they be?
they didn't make it that.
We still crispy though.
Right.
You know, it's not like niggas old.
senseless acts of violence.
But it's just how many
senseless.
of our
General.
Leaders.
generals
Yeah.
get caught up in a stupid war.
Nonsense.
They're like fighting the good war right to where you slip for the stupid war. So if you're good in one place, make sure you're good every place. When you're good in one place, tighten up every place. You know?
I got a question. If there's any, I forgot to ask you. But obviously you've been around a lot of people. Who influences you now? Is it just family, or are there other people out there that you watch and like, you know, that's a source of influence? Is there anybody out there?
Kanye influences.
Oh, yeah, shout out to you.
When your student becomes your teacher, you did your job.
That should be the goal of every teacher. For
Well said.
that to,
It's happens.
oh, yeah.
You know, through all the bullshit, when I have conversations with him, I learn. You know, because to me, he's better than me and making his dreams come true. We don't have the same dreams, but he makes his dreams come true better than me in a manic state sometimes. Genius.
Definitely.
It's art. Kanye is art.
Yeah.
For me. Living, breathing art. Everything he does is interesting and different.
You gotta watch.
Yeah.
Everything he does.
You gotta watch.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of him. You know, took that red hat off.
Yeah. And now he's running for president.
He never said that.
Tweet.
He did not tweet that.
Wasn't it?
He said 2020 vision.
2020.
Yeah.
He gotta take it the way he wanted. I ain't seen him run for shit. All I heard was, I'm taking the red hat off.
Shout out to Kanye.
My brother.
We gotta get an interview with Kanye. That's the next giant. Dane, once again, we appreciate your hospitality. You're a general.
Also, he dropped that $2 billion.
You dropped what?
That $2 billion on the county.
George Floyd's daughter, yeah.
All right, let me give you another Jeopardy music question. Name another mother that's talking about helping that dropped anywhere near $2 million.
One of George Floyd's.
That's a heavy mic drop.
Yeah.
That made me proud. He nigga came through.
And he was in the streets too. He was in the streets.
Dropped that bank, right? Flew his private jet, walked through the shit, didn't say a word, jumped back on his jet, and was the loudest voice with that motherfucker. A mic drop is a bag drop. Bag drop. That's gangster.
2 million.
2 million.
Copy, yeah.
Yeah, that's significant.
That's all we need to talk about. Took the red hat off and did the bag drop when it counted.
Oh yeah, one of the greatest.
I'm proud to be a part of that
One of the
on
greatest.
any level.
One of the greatest ever. of all
Nah,
time.
right now he's the best that ever did it because of the Gap deal and the sneaker deal. The nigga made Jordan with
Yeah.
sneakers.
Easy
Yeah,
to
non-athlete. Non-athlete.
You gotta give that man his props.
Yeah, non-athlete to build it.
And also the Gap.
Gap is gonna be crazy.
And he's localizing production.
Yeah. So I heard,
Wait, you know what that means?
I heard they were trying to give him some fight back in Wyoming.
I don't care. I'm just saying he's making sure everything made
Is in
by
the US,
him
yeah.
is in the US.
Yeah, that's important.
Mike bag drop. That's all that counts. All the other shit is circus. He bag dropped it.
Coin.
Nigga, my graduates from my school being Forbes.
Yeah. Kevin Hart.
All.
Good one.
Hopkins University.
Bag drop.
Bad drop.
Fucking mic drop. Bag drop.
Bad drop. That's my new. That's my
That-
mic drop.
Can we make that a drop right there?
Can we make that a drop? Bad drop.
Whatever it
You know,
is.
we need drops. We actually, speaking
That's
of
a
drops,
drop.
we need an Earn Leisure drop.
Bad drop.
So
Bag
then
drop.
do one.
EYO University.
Do one.
EYO University. I'm waiting for you to say it.
This thing is funny.
Bag drop. Bag drop. They talking about college. Bag drop.
You know you're still back in the fucking camp.
I'm Ghost. They call me Ghost.
You're not sounding like a ghost.
If it wasn't on live, nobody
Only
would
thing
have
look like a ghost paws is your legs.
smell like piss. Yo,
You have to wear them? You have to wear them?
I ran out of clothes.
You have to wear them?
I don't got that many clothes.
Well, don't
Black belt.
don't
Black
smoke that. You might get some ashes on that.
White pants with black belt.
Right there, you're a black belt.
No, but you're not supposed to see that. You gotta give me credit.
No,
You're not
we
supposed to see
see it.
that.
No, we see it. We
Yeah, I'm
see
sure.
it.
Because I'm chilling. I feel comfortable. I'm with Dave. I'm with a legend. I'm chilling. What is
You
going?
should never feel that comfortable.
That's exactly what you should have did. It's a
Now you
legend.
know everybody wears white pants, but I just
No, I ain't got
like is there is Puff going to party later?
it. Oh, damn.
I ain't wearing nothing shiny.
Damn.
Respect.
Annual July
Is
15th
there
party.
like a boat ride you about to go on?
You remember those back in the day? You remember those back in the day? You remember those?
You know what I mean? You triggered the memory.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? And I said this at Essence Fest a few years ago. This is off topic, but it's true. Black people are the only culture I've ever seen go to an all-white party. We're like obsessed with the color white. I've never seen a Spanish all-white
They
party.
be going crazy.
Black people love white parties.
But you love white.
No, I do love white color, but I'm
It's
just saying.
dumb.
I don't know why.
Why?
I like they do
talking
all white
about
baby
white
showers,
dumb.
all white boat parties, all white. Think about it. There's always an all white party for black people somewhere.
That's a narrative.
Yeah.
That's
But that's our
the
culture.
program.
Sometimes we gotta accept our culture. That's what we do.
That's
I can't do that.
the culture
Can't
that
do
we've
it.
been
Culture.
given.
Yo,
To think that dark is means really dark, and light means
We didn't time.
rather like
On the card.
red or something, but
Oh.
whatever. But
That's
anyway,
what
Dang. Once again, thank you. Appreciate it.
thanks for letting me be on your TV show.
Television show, production, B-roll,
Show.
earn your leisure.
Damn, you took your dressing skills? Because I
Yeah.
might need them.
If you want another amazing video with the one and only Dame Dash, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. continue to believe, and I'll see you there.